Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to KocoSports. I am the huge one, aka the idiot, Dave Koco from KocoSports.net. It's where the world comes to cash, home for common sports, and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. I am completely rusty at this, but let's get started. This week, I'm going to get back into reviewing. Me and Boom Boom 2 weeks in a row reviewed pro wrestling. And I noticed that the internet has changed. I want to hear what you have to say. That's not what I don't know. It seems like an angrier, more sensitive place. How could you be angry and sensitive more? I don't know. But, us re-reviewing Meltzer's 5-star matches has been a lot of fun, but I also noticed a pattern that Meltzer has, and I feel like maybe more people should make a list of what's important to them in pro wrestling, a list of how they envision pro wrestling, because being a positive PD, saying everything's okay or everything sucks, just seems like it's not fair. It should be like a starting point. Or 10 things that you think pro wrestling is or should be, tips for indie wrestlers. I don't know, 10 important things. Number one, it has to be athletic. All right? I'm reading off my list here. It has to be athletic. Like, if I think I can do it, I was Marine Corps infantry. I've played sports, not at a high level. Free shoes, free jerseys, representing, I played semi-pro here and there, but nothing too fantastic. You know what I mean? I'm just an average guy that tried his hardest at sports to have fun. In martial arts, I got to travel the world and train with people. So I would say I'm more athletic at times in my life than the average fat guy. But, dude, do I get fat sometimes? But if I'm looking at a pro wrestling event, they have to be more athletic than me. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, if I look in that ring and go, I can whoop that guy's ass, and it is not a size issue. I know a lot of the cruiserweights and fat-ass heavyweights are like, yeah, it's all about the size. No, if you're a fucking fat tub of shit and you can't move, that's what you are. So just being athletic. You could be Rey Mysterio in his prime, a Prince Puma in his prime, Tiger Mask in his prime, Liger in his prime. I keep saying prime because, some of the athletes, you're there for respect. But it has to be athletic. I have to look at you and go, yeah, I can't do that. That's like rule number one. If I'm sitting there like, yeah, I can fucking do everything you're doing, I'm like, why am I paying you? When I used to run promotions, I used to make the joke that everyone on my roster should at any moment be able to kick my ass. Like, if I walk by and you're like, oh my God, Dave Koco might kick my ass, you should not be on my fucking roster. Second one, know your vision. WWE has given us a smorgasbord of everything, and that's the number one company in a lot of people's eyes. Yeah, WWE is going downhill. They don't know what they are, but they are number one, so people copy them. TNA is a copycat of WWE, and there's a lot of indie promotions that are like, we're a bit of everything. If you're a bit of everything, you're nothing. Know your vision and stay in your universe. New Japan at most of the times knows their vision. Lucha Underground really knows their vision. Ring of Honor in its prime, when it's Ring of Honor's at its best, knows its vision. When I go up to an independent promoter and I say, well, what's your company? What's it about? What's going on? And I hear, well, it's a little mix of everything. You're nothing. You're absolutely nothing. That's what you are, in my opinion. So stay in your universe. If like one moment you have a guy who's dead and walking, and then next you have a clown, and then next you have a dumpster, and then you have a demon who can fly, and then, stay in your universe. Independence. You shouldn't have a guy going, I'm going to offer you $10,000 when literally there's 6 people in the audience. Know your universe. Stay in your universe. Lucha Underground broke a lot of rules that I knock other companies for, but they stayed in their universe. They made it happen. And WWE, I think, has that problem. I think Vince McMahon, WWE fans, would love it more if they were like Lucha Underground. You can keep the legends around forever. Keep being cinematic. It's not for me. but that's what you want. Stop trying to entertain me and know what the fuck you want. You're trying to entertain everybody while entertaining no one. I think the championship needs to matter. It needs to matter. The best wrestler, or maybe the most over wrestler after a long story, should have it. If you've ever said, oh, well, he deserves it. What? No, that shouldn't be a debate. Of course he deserves it. He's the fucking champ. The fact that you're bringing this up in a conversation makes it sound like he doesn't deserve it. Or like, oh, you can't have the champ the same guy forever. Why the fuck not? If he's the best fucking wrestler in the world, this is another one. I'm jumping all over the place here. I made a list. But best wrestlers, most wrestlers over should be champs. Long title runs. I believe in long title runs. I believe in a thing. And here's the thing. If you are a face champion, stay on top as long as you got over 60% of the reaction. If you get 60% positive reaction from the audience, then you stay a face and you ride it out. But as soon as it dips to 58, 59, it is a feeling out process. I know it's weird because people come into pro wrestling and they're like, well, there's this, and this. This is out. Like, no, it's a feeling out process. You have to feel the audience. You have to feel where the product's going. It's weird because it's writing, but it's also writing on the fly. And I've always had a rule of, if you drop under 58%, if you drop under 60% and you're the face and people are starting to give you the John Cena, Dave Bautista, Randy Orton treatment, you turn heel. That's why a lot of people make fun of Jeff Jarrett. A lot of people make fun of Triple H. A lot of people, but here's the thing. Unlike them, they had the honor of turning heel. So yeah, I think that long title runs, I love. Upsets, I'm not bad about upsets. It's just one upset per month, maybe. 2 upsets per month. If you have 2 upsets in one card, then your fucking company sucks. That's it. Now, it could be a great matchup and you don't know who's going to win. But if you're like, that guy is obviously not as talented as that guy, and that guy won. That's what an upset is. If you do an upset enough times, it just means your company's not good in my eyes. You know, you can't just have upsets left and right. Never do 2 types of the same match in a row unless it's a tournament. If you have no idea what to fucking book a tournament. If you're like, I don't know what to do, book a tournament. If you're not booking a tournament, never have 2 tag team matches in a row. Never have 2 6-man tag matches in a row. Never have, whatever your company is, try your damnedest not to have 2 matches in a row. If you have 2 upsets in a row, it's like, okay, well, great. This company is dumb. That's in my eyes. Now, granted, everyone has different things, and that's why I think more people should make this list. Lose myself factor. Kurt Angle, HBK. I lose myself. Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle. I lost myself. Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and Ring of Honor. I lost myself. Okada, Tanahashi before it became overdone. I lost myself. Here's the thing. Everyone's like, we're going to be worked. Fans want to be worked. I mean, MCU fans want to cry for Iron Man. Futurama fans want to fucking hug a dog. These are fucking feelings. Being worked is a good thing. Telling people they were worked because they stopped fucking supporting the product is another. But yeah, the lose myself factor. If I went to a pay-per-view once. I won't say the company's name, TNA. I'm classy like that. And I remember I used to always get like very, very good seats. I was like, come on in, come on in, come on in, sit here, don't worry about it. Hey man, how's it going? I remember it was Magnus, and I think it was maybe a Scott Steiner. It was Magnus, one of the Motor City Machine Guns. And I was just like, Magnus turned out to be one of the best wrestlers in the world, but at the time he wasn't. Don't let fucking Magnus fool you. I just remember going, I'd rather cut my grass. Like, I was like, man, I haven't cut my grass. My grass is really long. That shouldn't be happening live at a pay-per-view. You should be in the moment. So to lose myself factor, if you can get me to forget about my lawn, my problems for 10 minutes and enjoy life, that's a huge factor in it. Another huge factor is effort. I'd rather see, let's say you rank wrestlers 1 through 10. I'd rather see 2 5s busting their ass than 2 10s showing up for a paycheck. I literally just described WWE. So effort matters. There's a difference between Nakamura and AJ at the Tokyo Dome. Don't make fun of Meltzer because it happened in Japan. Watch it with your own fucking eyes. Nakamura and AJ at the Tokyo Dome compared to any WWE ring, it's different, and it's a 1,000 times worse because of the effort. There's a big one for WWE, FCW, not as much NXT, TNA, certain members of TNA and Impact. Not now. Impact, I think they're trying a little bit harder as far as the office goes. And if you're an indie guy, it has to mean something to you. The title has to mean something to you. The company has to mean something to you. The letters that the company represent has to mean something to you. If you can convince, if you're an indie wrestler or an indie promoter or anything else, if you can convince 10 wrestlers that what you're doing is important, the fans will know. And the fans will come. If you have the best wrestlers in the world go, oh, it doesn't fucking matter, we're in a fucking strip club. Doesn't fucking matter we're wrestling in a bar. The fans will fucking feel it. It has to mean something to you as a writer, as a booker, as a performer. It has to mean something to you. Because if it means nothing to you, it is going to show, and the product is going to suffer from it. This one's very big. Never, and especially when there's different hats. You know, when I review a show, I put the fan into factor. I put the fans into factor. I'm like, this is what North American fans think. This is what United States fans think. This is what WWE fans think. This is what AEW fans think. I think it's important for reviewers and media to be able to insult the fans, be like, that's bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's right, but I see it more of a point. A pro wrestler should never insult the fans. Ever in a million fucking years. I hate insulting the fans. I know that sometimes you have to, as a member of the media in any version, pro wrestling. I know pro wrestling sometimes in the word media seems to insult each other, but if it's important to you, it should be important to them. Once again, the fact that they're like, oh, fuck, I don't give a fuck what the media says. No one says that in Major League Baseball. No one says that in NHL. No one says that in Hollywood because fucking it matters and it's important to them. But you're wearing different hats. But if you're a pro wrestler or a promoter, there should be a strict rule that you don't make fun of the fans for being fans. You can make fun of the fans for being fat. You can make fun of the fans for coughing during a podcast. But do not make fun of the fans for being fans. Because I've been to enough wrestling events where I see a guy lose himself, which is very important in pro wrestling, and he's like, fuck you, heel, go to hell, heel, you suck, heel. And then the heel grabs the mic because, wink, wink, he's going to break kayfabe because wrestlers are the biggest fucking punk-ass bitches when it comes to, don't break kayfabe. Oh, let me get an easy pop. I'll break kayfabe. I'm looking at you, Triple H. So, the guy, a wrestler will grab the mic and be like, you're just a stupid fucking mark paying your fucking bills. Here's the thing. Most fans are more successful than most pro wrestlers. We live in this magical world where it's not the case. You go to an indie event, the people in the crowd are probably more successful than the people in the ring. Now, granted, the people in the ring are trying to chase their dream. So when you grab a mic, especially on the indies or even in WWE anywhere, and you're like, you're a fucking idiot, you fucking mark, it's not real, or something along those lines, you actually just look at the audience member. Because if you're ever going to make money in pro wrestling, you have to be aware. Look at their eyes. They're like, fuck you, fuck you. Wait a second, you're right. I'm a fucking lawyer. I give a fuck if this fat indie fuck does anything. Yeah, I'm just going home. And they just won't go to the next show. And they're like, we fucking worked you. Yeah, you worked your way out of fucking 2 more tickets being sold, fat ass. So there you go. This is just me. It'd be your vision. If you are a company that is not a comedy wrestling company, I believe you should have one comedy wrestler per company or a team. Then you shouldn't have, like, if you're an AEW, a WWE, a New Japan, and I'll pick on New Japan a lot. It's like Yano's the comedy guy. We get it. You know, we're supposed to be the king of sports. We're supposed to be the best. One guy's there. He's fucking punching people in the balls. We get it. But then there is another comedy wrestler and another comedy wrestler and another comedy wrestler. And you lose your vision. Don't lose your vision. And one, this is a kind of an important one. Some people say language. I think pro wrestling, I never gave a fuck about what language they were speaking. You could speak the Spanish, the Japanese, the Chinese, the English. I enjoy it. Like pro wrestling, basketball, and certain sports, there's a language barrier. You know what I mean? The language barrier is torn down. I think in pro wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts, basketball, I think the language barrier is torn down. I'm lucky enough to have played basketball in 4 different countries, and you know, I would say I wouldn't make a living, but you know, it's like, hey, here's a fucking sandwich. I was the indie wrestler of basketball players, and yeah, I got to, if I could work with Chinese players, Japanese players. You know, I mostly played in Asia, but that's not the point. The point is, like, you can go talk to someone about basketball with barely knowing the language. And pro wrestling has that. So I don't think the language is a factor. This is a factor. I need to be able to see it. There are shows where the light is bright in your face. I'm just turning it off. If it's so dark you can't see anything, I'm turning it off. If the building is so smoky you can't see anything, I'm not coming back. To me, being able to see it nice and clear as I'm doing an audio podcast on YouTube, the hypocrisy, but you got to be able to see it if it is. So these are the 10 plus things I judge it on. You know, titles should mean something. Champion should mean something. Being athletic should mean something. Knowing your vision. Staying in your universe. You know, making me fucking believe that this is real. These are things that are important to me. And I find it interesting, and I'd like to hear what's important to you. And I'd love to see other reviewers do this. Because I came back, watched a couple of reviewers, and I'm like, you're not reviewing stuff. You're just not reviewing stuff. And maybe because the internet is so sensitive, it should be that way. I don't know. Is the art of the review dead? I don't know. It should be interesting. But yeah, I'm probably going to do a week of reviews. I'm going to definitely hit news. I only got about a week off. So I miss my small community, and I miss talking pro wrestling more than probably pro wrestling itself. I love pro wrestling, but I've become such a snob that if it's not absolutely fantastic, I just walk away. And that's hard to do in the review game. So I think I'm going to come up with some ideas for shows that I can try to rebuild my audience, maybe grow it a little bit, and return my smile. But I want to do it kind of like on my own terms and a little bit honest, you know, because like I always said, if you're super positive, super negative, or super say nothing, that is the safest bet. But then what's the point of having a voice? So I just thought I'd put it out there. I'd love to hear what's important to you. And who knows, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's like, oh yeah, an oh yeah moment I'd like to see. And I'd love to see other people make videos like this. Because it would be interesting. It would be interesting what they find, you know, because, I don't know, I just went back and watched like 4 or 5 reviewers, and it was just like, everything fucking sucks. Okay, you serve no purpose. Everything is okay. You serve no purpose. Everything is awesome. You serve no purpose. So I'm hoping to serve a purpose and have fun and slowly build a small community. All right. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and slowly but surely, this old man is coming back. Will it be a success? I don't know. I honestly do not know. But I want to have fun. And I miss you old school guys. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm always streaming on twitch.tv/KocoSports. That's my new passion. And yeah. And what else? KocoSports.net. We're going to try to rebuild that bad boy. Operation Freak Show still for sale on Amazon. And just in case, you got to buy another 20 copies. And pre-order Lucky the Orphan. It is loosely based off my life. It is about an orphan that grew up in New Jersey who would do anything for Nintendo in the 80s. Operation Freak Show is really dark, and this one's more lighthearted. So I hope a lot of people that don't like the dark stuff get to read one of my books. It'd be kind of cool. And I'm hoping to become a full content creator, not just pro wrestling, but in general. And yeah, I got big plans, big dreams, and it all starts with you like, commenting, and subscribing. All right. Love you guys. With that, I am over. Hey.